Well, here I am in my shop, and I built this box. Now, you might wonder, why would I do that? Hello there. All right. I built, or am almost done building, a cajon. Um, Not a woodworker. Um, I have lots of tools I inherited from my dad. I don't really know how to use most of them. I wish I had paid more attention when I was working with him in his shop instead of annoying the hell out of him by pulling his bench apart with rulers and stuff, but I didn't. So I figured I would try a pretty simple project, done some YouTube research. I really kind of wanted one of these to kind of play around with some music stuff. It's a Bach drum called a Cajon. I've got it already to the States, so this isn't kind of a watch me build it thing, although I do still need to put what they call the front or the tapa on. And maybe I'll record that, and I've got to put some pieces in it. So basically, it's built out of 3/4 inch Baltic birch plywood that I had from a bed frame that I made years ago. Watched a couple of different clips on guys that have made these, and I just started cutting it. Didn't really have a plan. All I knew is I wanted it to be about 19, 20 inches tall, 12 inches wide, 12 inches deep. So I started by cutting the sides and the top and the back. I figured, okay, 12, 12, 12. 12 inches wide, set the saw up, and went to town. Cut 2 panels at 18. Actually, I cut 3 panels at 18, the 2 sides and the back. I'll screw that up, and we'll get to that in a second. And then I cut the top and the bottom, which are basically 12-inch squares. I put rabbits on the back. You probably can't see it really with that video, but these are all rabbited. And when I did that, I realized that one of the YouTube guys that I watched has just cut the pieces. I followed sort of what he did, but the reality was this one has to be thinner because it actually goes inside. It actually goes inside the back, and it goes inside the top. I got lucky because I didn't really know that when I was doing it, so I just had to shrink this piece down. And having a decent table saw is a game changer because it just lets me cut stuff safely and really square. And I cut this piece, and it fit. Like, I clamped it all up, and it fit perfectly. So yeah, so I wanted to have a lot of cajons you can buy with snares in them, so you get that little bit of that raspy sound when you hit the front of it. I wanted the ability to have that on or off. So I'd seen a few people make all sorts of contraptions on levers inside and stuff, and I knew that that was probably beyond what I was capable of. So I just went pretty simple. Just cut a dowel as I trip over a cord. The dowel slides through, and then the snares get bolted to it, and then I have 2 small dowels inside. I'll show that in a second. And that just are stoppers. And then this bar at the top is when I turn the snare back, essentially it sits against that so they don't hear them sort of dangling when you're tapping the front of it. So lesson learned about Forstner bits. So I used a Forstner bit to cut through here and just to cut about halfway in on this other side here. I clamped the 2 pieces together, took my trusty DeWalt drill, put the Forstner bit in it, and basically measured it where I wanted it, cut it, drilled it through, and I thought, okay, I'm good to go. Except when I slide this through, the drill was just on enough of an angle that it didn't really well meet up. So lesson learned, when I'm using the Forstner bit on 2 pieces glued together or clamped together, I'm going to set the shopsmith up to use the drill press. I don't have a drill press. I have a really tiny shop. It was, I didn't even think to do it, but next time for sure, if I'm using a Forstner bit, I'll definitely will do that. So I had most of the materials already, like I said. The only thing I had to buy the snare. Went to Long and McQuaid for that. I think it was about 18 bucks. And then I ordered these things from a company here in Ottawa called NG. Next Generation. They sell all sorts of guitar parts. I didn't know that. They were even here on Slack Road in Ottawa. And bought some good-sized rubber feet, non-marring. I actually bought 2 sizes because I wasn't sure what I wanted to put on it. Wood finishing, not my thing. Don't really know what the hell I'm doing. I took this out to my brother-in-law to get some opinions, and he promptly picked up on the fact that I actually made a mistake when I was cutting. Well, not a mistake. I guess a mistake. I don't know. If you're a woodworker, you can tell me what you think. But the top panel grain runs this way. The side panels run this way. In his opinion, this should have been running that way. I'm like, well, in my opinion, when I'm sitting on it, I thought that that's... Anyways, does it make any difference to the structural integrity of the box? No. So I guess it's an opinion thing. I don't know. I didn't really have a lot of stains. I had a little bit of spar urethane left over from a table that I built, and I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money, so I bought a little tin, and it was really dark. I put it on and went, uh-oh. I didn't really like it at all, but I'm sort of committed. So I lightened it up a bit. It doesn't look too bad. Once I put 4 coats of the spar on it, it really made it help it pop. So it is what it is. I had a couple of little gaps. I used some plastic wood. Plastic wood definitely takes the stain differently. And my roommate suggested that accents should be the same as the front. And the front is a 1/4 inch Baltic birch ply, stained in brown. So this is going to be the first time I actually get to put it together with all the stain and the stuff finished. I have no idea what it's going to look like, but it is what it is. It wasn't expensive. And, you know, I did suffer from a lot of analysis paralysis because I really didn't know what I was doing. And I overthought a lot of stuff. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to move the camera a little bit. I'll get closer, and let's put this thing together. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is to reinstall this dowel, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It comes across. As it comes in, you can see it's out by like an inch. Well, I don't know, was that an inch and a half? I had to kind of oblong this hole so that I could sort of push it up a bit and get it to actually fit in this indent. Use a drill press. Won't have that problem. All right, so we're just going to push that in. There we go. Now, over time, I'm going to guess that this is going to get worked a little bit, and I suspected that over time that it would become loose. So on this side, I have a little bolt. Went to my favorite store in Bell's Corners and picked up this little cap, glued it in, and then that, oh, I should show you that. This was another screw up where I decided to use the drill press. I have a threaded insert in here. This bolt's way too long for what I was trying to do, so I had to bury the insert. I don't know, it's like an inch in there. Not a woodworker, but it was a fun project. All right, so let's get this in. All right, so then you take that goes through here like this, and that catches the thread. So we'll just thread that in. Not all the way. So this is basically just to give it a snug. I'm probably going to put like a rubber washer on there. I got a bunch in the cupboard here, but I'll do that later. Okay, so now these 2 dowels that are here are stoppers, and for this bolt, which basically goes through. Got to find the holes for the snare. So that's on. Off. So that's going to go like this. So it's got to go in like this. I believe that's it. All right. So this goes in. So I'm just going to use my drill. So that's good. So you can see that stops it. Now it'll be, the snares will be against the front, and then I turn it back and they should be against the back, but we'll check that in just a second. So the next thing we need to do is install the snares. So the snare is just off of, I think it's just a drum. I think it's just a drum snare. I just took it. That's what most of the folks do that have built these things, and it's just usually it's like that, right? And I just cut it, and then I screw these onto the dowel. So let's get that going. One screw started. Bang, 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 bang. I'm just going to get both screws started before I put this thing in. So to line these up, you might be wondering, what did I do? How did I do that? I just took the dowel and I set it in the channel of the table saw. And that allowed me to draw a straight line. So at least I knew that the screw holes were going to be at least correct. Or at least straight to keep these things even. This goes in like this. Grab the other one. Alright, this is a bit tedious. Ah! Alright. Start it by hand. There we go. Okay, so the snare is now fully installed. So you can see, if I just bring the camera just a little bit closer, and then I can't really see what I'm seeing. Let me just do this. So you can see here, when I have it come back, it sits against this bar, which is the stopper bar from, if I didn't have that, then you could hear them sort of dangling around in there. So that stops it 100%. And I'm actually going to probably put a little piece of a sticky felt on that, just to dampen the noise, any noise that might be there. So the tapa goes on the front, and then if I want the snares, they'll basically sit against the front like that. All right, so I think at this point it's time to put the tapa on. So this is the tapa. There is a top and a bottom. The holes along the sides are even to about here. Then there's a bigger space. Went to Long and McQuaid. I looked a bunch, took pictures, saw a bunch online. Some guys don't even have any screws here. And apparently you're supposed to be able to tighten these and sort of tune the front of it. Okay, I haven't done that yet, but I'm going to give this a go and get this thing put on. So I did not want to use drywall screws. So I went to the local box store and I bought just sort of black, screws, 1-inch screws. I'm going to use some new ones out of here because, yeah, the ones I used earlier got all sorts of dust in them. I want these to be clean, and I've apparently misplaced my Robertson bit. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'm gonna want to be careful doing this because these are wood screws, and I'm not going into anything but just sort of pre-drilled holes. So I have had this on already, just to make sure everything fits. So I'm just gonna get them all started by hand. And I might speed this part of the video up because it's pretty tedious to watch. A couple more new ones here. This one, this one. So the next thing I'm going to build after this is a little guitar stand. I have a couple metal ones, but I have one guitar that has to stay in the case because I don't have another stand. And I got a bunch of 2x4s, so I'm going to try to build another 2x4. We'll see how that goes. All right, so let's start tightening these down. Do not want to over tighten. I'm going to go to slow speed, and I'm going to sort of go like you're doing tires on a car. Oh, and it's fitting good. Maybe I should do the corners. Also, the black screws I figured would match. I'm going to tighten these the rest of the way with a screwdriver. I figured they would match the finish on the side. So I'm not overly disappointed with the finish. Certainly was a lot darker than it looked on the side of the can. But what do you do? You live and you learn. Okay, so with those on, I'm just going to now, using hand tightening, just make sure none of these are over tightened. These were all countersink, so they should be flush. Another thing I saw is some folks have the two at the top are like flat backed screws, not countersunk. I don't know why they do that. I'm guessing maybe it has a bit of an impact on how the Tapa sort of responds. I guess this is all part of the tuning it. So these are all torqued to whatever, to a 2-finger torque, 3-finger torque, 2-finger, I don't know. Just giving them all a bit of a snugging, and then we'll go from there. All right, there we go. So we'll lift her back up onto the feet. Again, the feet were just held in. So there's what it looks like with the wood on the brown. First time fully assembled and finished. I'm okay with this. So I might put some extra wood up here just to deafen it a bit. And then put the snare on. I don't know how to play it. I got some learning to do. Anyways, so that's my build of a Cajon. She stands about just over 20 inches tall. It's like I said, it's 12 inches wide. And you sit on it, and yeah, I'll go do some YouTube lessons, and then I'll do a quick video of playing some sort of rhythm, if I can. If I can't, it's for sale. Anyways, pretty straightforward project to build if you've got a table saw and you got some time. It's my first ever project like this, so it was fun to do, and I'm glad I did it. Maybe more to come, because I am retired and I'm kind of enjoying it. Okay, so here's the finished product. You sit on it and it's a drum. You get different sounds here, different sounds here, different sounds there. Watching a bunch of YouTube clips trying to figure out different beats. I thought I had rhythm. I do not have rhythm. But here's a really basic one, and I still screwed up, but it's basically there's a screw up, and that's it. And there's different beats. There's one I was trying to learn. It goes, no, it goes, ah. Anyways, you get the gist. I have a lot of practicing and learning to do. Thankfully, I have lots of time on my hands. So that's my Cajon. Project completed, except for learning how to play it, which, you know, who knows? It might be for sale. Thanks very much for watching.